So let's talk about something pretty terrifying. What if you thought you missed the single most important event in history? I mean, really, truly believed it. That's the question at the very heart of an ancient letter written to a church in Thessalonica. I mean, seriously, just try to imagine that feeling for a second. It's like a total gut punch, right? You've been promised this incredible rescue from a huge storm that's coming, and then someone tells you, oh yeah, the rescue boat, it already left. And you're just standing there in the pouring rain. And that feeling, that deep personal panic, that is the emotional engine driving everything the Apostle Paul writes in this chapter. And this is so important. If we miss that, if we just read this chapter like some kind of detached academic timeline, we're going to completely miss his point. Okay, so to really get what they were going through, we have to put ourselves in their shoes. We've got to start with the rumor itself, this absolutely terrifying idea that was tearing through their church. So Paul jumps right in, and he immediately connects two massive ideas. First, you've got the promise, right? The coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and our being gathered to him. Then, boom, he pivots straight to the problem, this rumor that the day of the Lord has come. For the Thessalonians, you just couldn't separate these two things. They were completely linked. And this is a fantastic way to see the two sides of the coin for them. On one side, you have this amazing hope, our gathering to him. That's the rescue, what a lot of people today would call the rapture. But on the other side, you've got the day of the Lord. And that, well, that's a pretty well-known biblical concept for a time of God's judgment on the earth. So you've got hope and you've got wrath. And right into the middle of this community, this devastating rumor drops. You could almost call it ancient fake news. And it's simple. That second part, the day of the Lord, that time of judgment, it's not future anymore. It's here. It's happening right now. Okay, so to understand why this little rumor caused total chaos, we got to rewind a bit. We have to remember what Paul had already told them in his first letter, because their expectations were already locked in. See, Paul had given them a pretty clear sequence of events. He'd told them they would be caught up to meet the Lord in the air, and he specifically promised that Jesus rescues us from the wrath to come. So for them, the mental timeline was super simple. Step 1, rescue. Step 2, wrath. They were convinced they'd be gathered up before that whole day of the Lord thing kicked off. All right, so now let's watch what happens when this one rumor crashes head-on into the hope they were holding on to. It creates a total crisis of faith. You can just imagine the wheels turning in their heads, can't you? The rumor says the day of the Lord, the judgment, the wrath, it's already started. Okay, that's point number 1. And then point number 2, and we're still here. I mean, they could just look around. They're living their lives. They're facing persecution. They definitely have not been caught up. And when you put those two things together, it leads to this absolutely soul-crushing conclusion. This question that must have shaken them to their core. Did we miss it? If the wrath is here and we're still here, does that mean the rescue already happened? Are we the ones who got left behind? And that's why Paul uses these really strong words like shaken and alarmed. This wasn't some polite theological debate over coffee. He was writing to a church that was in a full-blown panic, terrified they'd been abandoned by God. So here's the absolute key to understanding this whole chapter. Paul's main goal here isn't to lay out some complex, detailed prophetic timeline. Nope. His goal is pastoral. He's a shepherd trying to calm a very specific, very real fear. Honestly, if you only take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. Paul is being a pastor first and a prophet second. He's dealing with their terrified hearts before he deals with anything else. So long before he even mentions a rebellion or a man of lawlessness, his first move is just pure pastoral care. It's like he's putting a hand on their shoulder and saying, hey, breathe. You have not missed the gathering, and you are not in the day of the Lord. And you see, understanding that emotional context, it changes everything. It completely reframes the whole passage. It stops being a doctrinal puzzle and starts being what it actually is, a deeply compassionate letter. Because if you just skip past their panic, if you jump straight into debating the rebellion or who the restrainer is, you're almost guaranteed to miss what Paul is actually doing. He's not creating a riddle for us to solve. He's answering a terrified person's question. So, what's the point of these first couple of verses? It's pure, simple reassurance. Paul isn't trying to argue that the church will go through the tribulation. That's a different debate.
He's proving to them that they aren't already in it, and worse, left behind.
It's only after he's calmed them down that he starts to give them the proof. He basically says, okay, and here's how you can know for sure that you're not in the day of the Lord. And then he drops this line, that day will not come unless. And right here, this is where the big debate really kicks off. When Paul starts listing the things that have to happen first, what's he doing? Is he creating a whole new timeline, one that means believers have to be here to see the Antichrist? Or is he still just answering that original fear by giving them clear signs of a day he's already promised they won't even be around for?
So that's the million-dollar question, and that's exactly what we're going to break down in part 2. Now that we really get the fear Paul was addressing, we're ready to look at the signs he gives. So make sure you join us for the next part, because that's where we get right into the heart of this whole debate.